So we've got the Ripplefold track, the R-track system all assembled, and now it's time to put the Ripplefold tape on. The first thing you need to do when you're working with this type of carrier is to take the friction or the pendant part of the carrier and snap it in. That's why you loaded these with the opening in the front. So snap those in for each carrier that you have. And you're ready to put your tape on. So I've pre-cut a couple pieces of tape. What I'm doing is just matching up the snap to the snap carriers. So I'm going to use the first two snaps here. The third snap has to hook into the one on the side of the rod. And then I've got a snap, 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 a snap for my end, and then one snap for my return. But the problem is the spacing between the snaps and the spacing between the carriers is less than the spacing between the tape. So we have to cut and manipulate the tape a little bit. So if I snap this on, you'll see what I mean in just a minute. This is probably the toughest one to get snapped in. Or maybe that one was. And I'm just taking one snap for one carrier. When you come to the end, you want a snap on your end plate and a snap on that return part of the plate. So obviously I have too much tape here. So what I'm going to do is I would figure out what my return from the front of the rod to the wall is, and that's the length that I would cut this. So we're just going to pretend like I know what that is. Back at the front, you want to cut this tape and actually overlap these two so that your master carrier fabric is going to lay nice and smooth. Now you can also fold this piece back at the same time. So I'm going to use my fabric stapler and staple those pieces all together. Now I'm aiming for the orange line that runs down the middle of the tape because that's not going to be in the way when I sew that onto my drapery panel. So I'm fine so far, but I'm not fine here. Have to do the same thing, manipulate the tape to match the carrier. I'm simply overlapping them, and I've cut that one a little bit too long so that it lays nice and flat. Staple those two together. And of course I would do the same thing on this side of the rod, and then I'm ready to take the tape off the rod and sew it onto the drapery panel. It's just that easy.